Cajun country living and Rome weren't built in a day, y'all. They're predicting a really, really bad year for hurricanes.
The whole thing is not a pleasant experience, and you never know what you're going to be coming home to.
I don't think any of us ever expected to see Jim like this, or even like this. I think for a nice event, we always expected him to show up in a nice white tee, but wearing those camo shorts. But thanks to today's sponsor, the Camo and Crocs is out. From weddings to business wear, formal events to everyday wear, their suits are designed for every occasion. With a range of classic and contemporary colors, they cater to all your preferences. Crafted with premium materials and attention to detail, they offer high-quality suits without the premium price tag. Designed with stretchable, breathable fabric, ensures that you stay cool and comfortable all day long. And as y'all know, this is probably one of the first time that you're actually seeing Jim wear pants, so take it from him that these are, just like they say, comfortable and flexible. They have an unparalleled value, style, and durability, which is their promise. We were both truly shocked whenever we saw how top grade these suits were, and especially for the price. Y'all, these are so affordable, and as y'all know, we love Uncle Amazon. They're of course on Amazon. I'm gonna be putting the link in the description below, but y'all make sure to go check them out. So whether you have a show-stopping performance at the Grand Ole Opry, a once-in-a-lifetime awards ceremony, or you simply just need to go to the grocery store, they have something for you. Y'all head down to the description box. All the product links are gonna be down there, and dress for those moments that matter.
The big plan for today was to build the standpipes and put them in place on the structural steel that we got welded into the container. But the weather hates our guts for some reason.
Even though it looks really beautiful right now, later in the week we have a stretch of rain that's going to be hitting us, and we knew that if we did not move this other container and do the prep work to get it moved, that we weren't going to be able to get it done within maybe even the next month. Whenever it gets wet here, y'all, it just saturates the ground. There's no way to move it. Last time we moved this other container, it was just a huge fiasco because the ground was still wet. But even though we've had all that rain recently, it's been so sunny and so dry, and it being the first rain, everything really just soaked up that water. So it is actually exceptionally dry right this second.
No, I wouldn't say exceptionally, but you can walk around without like being spongy.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So yeah, all that in a nutshell means that we have totally shifted gears once again. I think that's all we do is shift gears.
This is the point that we need to get to. This is the top of our mountain. This is the top of our shipping container, Hootis. And typically we would just go from like here to here, but we've just been kind of going like from here to here, but then sometimes back down here. Then we loop around here, and eventually we'll end up getting there.
Kind of like 3 snaps in a Z formation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We're gonna try to get this done in one day. It's our hope anyway. It is of course 90 degrees, the sun is out. It feels great, but it is pretty stinking hot. So really actually smart of us to wear black, isn't it?
It's the uniform. The Captain Crocs ensemble.
We only have one grinder that has a battery. Jim's gonna be working on that because we have got to fix a big mistake that we have with our ultimate Hootis. We don't have to go into the details because I think we all know all the details about whose weld broke. Long story short, it doesn't matter. It needs to be fixed. So Jim's gonna be working on fixing the ultimate Hootis, and I'm gonna get out here and start cutting these pipe off because we gotta get these pipe cut off to be able to place the container where it needs to go.
For the record, it was the weld metal that broke. The weld does not have a crack in it. Just gonna leave that there for the 19th time. Okay. Ain't nobody got to hate.
Okay. Whatever you say, sweetheart. If that's what makes you sleep at night, that's perfectly fine.
It is an oven in here. Man, Well done. Preheat, 400 degrees. Lord have mercy, I'm glad this thing has an air conditioner.
Can y'all see how many? I don't even know if y'all can see them. Can y'all see? Can y'all see all these gnats? Oof! Awful. So like I was saying earlier, there's nobody to blame, but let's just say it's not me. And we've also just discovered something else about our ultimate Hootis. If y'all remember, both the welds on that side, so the front and the back on that side, I did. And both the ones on this side, so the right side, Captain Crocs did. And it turns out that 2 of the 4 welds that we did that day are broken. So
you can definitely tell. Honestly, though, you can definitely tell these are my welds. They really are, because they look amazing.
Hey, you know what? That's the truth. They look a million times better, but you know what doesn't look better? Broken.
Why don't you go ahead, bring in my closest 100,000 friends or so we can really get to the, to the root of the problem here. Now, if you'll see that weld metal, look, you could say that it wasn't tied in, but it pulled that chunk out. It pulled that chunk out. It pulled that chunk out. Everywhere that it tied in. So what it is, honestly, for whatever, this material is fatigued. It was magnetized, but that's okay. I should have put more weld metal in it, and I should have turned up the heat. I should have got further back and penetrated more into the weld metal than the axle side.
So whenever I weld slower with the heat turned down a little bit. That's just what I do. So you probably didn't turn it up whenever it was your turn, and you were probably welding at what I had it set at. You know that?
I really think I'm just kind of fishing for excuses. So I'm going to buff this up, clean it up really good, make sure my spacing's right, make sure that I do have a little negative arch in these axles, and I'm going to get this puppy welded out.
Oh, but also don't forget about the one behind you.
I seen it. I'm so glad you don't call me out.
No, you know what? It's not calling out. It just needs to be fixed.
Now look. Oh, okay. Come check this out. Here's my weld, and here's the crack. Look at that. Would you look at that?
I just think it's extremely odd that it just happened to be both on your side. So what you're saying is if I would have welded this side, it would have happened to mine as well?
No, not at all. But what happened is I was running so fast. And I wasn't putting enough weld metal in. If I would have went farther into the weld metal that we used, even though the material is obviously fatigued, and I knew it was magnetized because I kept sticking. You know, your puddles tries to run from the magnetism. So I should have just put it in there, but I didn't. So now we went from, I don't know, and it kind of makes me feel bad that it was on my side, because we took the ultimate Hootis and turned it into like the painfully average Hootis.
I know, I wish we could change that. No, we can leave the ultimate Hootis on my side. We'll just put on your side.
Oh, is that how it
painfully
works?
Average.
50% of the ultimate Hootis.
We only have one of the battery-powered grinders, so I'm just going to take one of our power stations here. We really, really like this e-taker. This is the one that was the most convenient to get to, so grab this one, and I'm going to take it to, I guess I'll start right here in this corner, this farthest corner, and use one of our quarter grinders and just pack that around with me where I need to do some cutting at. Now I know
but a lot of y'all, if you've used one of these, is going to say that this is extremely, extremely dangerous. I don't have a guard on here like, show you, like how this one has the guard. Can you come be Vanna White for me for a second? Okay. And as you see, this one does not. So, especially whenever you're using a cutting wheel like this, if you have any angle, tilt it back up, tilt it down, tilt it to the side, do a loop-de-loop with it. It ain't gonna end up good. I'm gonna put my safety glasses on, so I'm just gonna be extremely careful today. I do know that I need to be very careful, so y'all can definitely go ahead and comment and tell me to be careful. I do have my hair tied back. I know that was a big concern for people, but that's okay. I need a little haircut anyway if it gets caught in there.
And we don't know where the guard is. If we had the guard, using a cutoff wheel, we'd definitely have it on there for sure.
Jim actually tried to take this one off a minute ago and stick it on here because he knows that I'm a lot more accident prone than he is, but we're just gonna have to go with it and hope for the best.
And another thing is I tried to do it and she won't let me. So I'm not gonna fight with her about it.
No. You know better than that.
Now I know better.
So sweet of you. Over here and buff all my pipe.
Well, I figured it was easier to run over here and buff the concrete off the pipe rather than change all these wheels around 15 times. So, I mean.
I think that's just whenever you say, no problem, honey, I'm doing it because I love you.
Yeah, no problem, honey. I'm doing it because I love you. Yeah. I had no other motive at all.
So sweaty. Oh, so sweaty. It is so hot. Whenever you get so sweaty, like your upper lip is sweaty.
Yeah, like that good old, like, not a sunburn, but that burning feeling you get from the sun, you know, like the rays are just like going
Frying
into
you
like a microwave.
from the inside out. Yeah, I feel that.
You know, I was just thinking, we're out here in this hot sun, no shade, out here in the bald open sun, good and hot, and we're kind of complaining just a little bit.
I know, I'm going to stop.
But do you realize, no, seriously, like when we get this thing done, we're going to have a nice, large, well-built structure to come work in that's going to be cooler in the summer because we're going to have shade, maybe a fan or two, you know, if we want to get super fancy. In the wintertime when it's raining and cold and nasty, we can come in here and, you know, do some outdoor activities other than just being out here freezing to death in the soaking wet.
Sounds great to me.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast, and every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars. We can do what we like. We can do what we like.
Y'all, I knew this material had some fatigue going on to some degree because I was kind of joking. I knew I put like a skate weld on this side, but I was hot and I was running fast, but it did break in the parent material. While I was trying to fill back in and tie this back into this axle pipe, I noticed a crack start running like glass in this pipe. So if you can see right here, I chased it probably an inch before I got it to stop running. Now I did get the crack welded up. On the flip side of that is, now I'm kind of concerned after we put this all back together and we put load on it again, are we gonna have that container sitting on this thing and then one of these welds break again? We're gonna have to really watch this close. And like I said, I really felt like I could put enough weld in it and push back into this sleeve material far enough to where we wouldn't have that to worry about. But now that I see cracks running, I don't know. We really don't have time to cut this all apart and put new sleeve material in and re-weld all of this stuff, because really it gets clogged.
So whenever we built this, we actually ran that pipe into the sleeve. I don't even remember how much. We talked about at least 8 inches, if not more. I think we ended up actually doing more than 8 inches because we wanted it to be tucked in there, remember? So that is kind of our saving grace, is having that pipe jammed up inside of that sleeve. So if it does break, it's not just like we have these 2 pieces in here, you know, only in an inch where it's gonna fall out, but that's just not gonna be the issue, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I probably shouldn't have said that, but.
And if these welds break too, well, or if we end up running into some more cracking, we might have to build another hoodus to save this hoodus to get that hoodus up here on this hoodus.
Oh man, let's hope not. You mean hood-eye, huh? You see that?
No.
The ultimate hood-eye. You know what, that's kind of fitting. You know that? It's not good enough to be considered a full hoodus, so it's just a hood-eye. Okay, 10-minute water break is what we're going to allow ourselves. It's probably the safest thing for us to do.
Man, that heat is in full force again, ain't it?
What?
I kind of like it though, you know?
I feel like you're burning a lot of calories, because I do.
Well, I feel like, you know, my everyday uniform is kind of fitting. I guess other than the black shirt. Black shirt's probably not the best decision out in the sun, but hey, it is what it is.
So the other day we got a comment that said, y'all haven't even finished your kitchen and you're working on outdoor things like a shop and pads and all this. And the answer is yes. So Cajun Country Living and Rome weren't built in a day, y'all. I know that's shocking. But one of the things that we actually are focusing on for this year and this summer is to try to get that container workshop done and built. And as y'all can tell, we've really been pushing on trying to get that done. And that's because they're predicting a really, really bad year for hurricanes. Insert that dun 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 sound there.
And you never really know. You know, you could get by. I'm sorry, I got distracted. There's a deer running around at the end of the driveway. See it? Look at it.
This looks like she's fixing to pop.
She's looking for some shade. I don't know if you've ever experienced the whole evacuation for a hurricane and then the coming back after the hurricane and all of that business. The whole thing is not a pleasant experience. And you never know what you're going to be coming home to. And we would just rather be in a position where we didn't have to do that again. We would rather be home to be able to look out for our own place and have a really secure place where we didn't have to worry about the hurricane to be able to live in. That's why it's so important that we get this done.
Whenever the hurricanes hit not last year, I guess it would have been, oh my gosh, like 3 years ago now. Mm-hmm. So whenever Laura and Delta hit, Laura we left for, which was 3 years ago, and we ended up having to drive all the way up to Texarkana, which is all the way to Arkansas. So it ended up being like 6-7 hours from us to get somewhere to even find a hotel to stay. So it wasn't like, oh, let's just move out of the way of the path real quick and then come back. As y'all know, we are extremely rural too. So coming back, literally bought chainsaws. The family bought chainsaws in order to get these roads cleared. So many of the roads had trees, limbs. I mean, it was just...
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, exactly. And me being from Illinois originally, y'all, it was like something that I've never experienced in my life. Even storms down here, like thunderstorms like we had the other day where we had those 80-mile-an-hour winds, it is so close. It's almost like it's suffocating whenever we have storms because the clouds seem so much lower than even like up in Illinois and up north. It's like you can see so much more of the sky. Down here, it's like suffocating you. It's the craziest feeling, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Plus, if we have that storm shelter here, it can not only be just good for us, but it can be good for the family. Whenever we have to leave here, you know, you're leaving your whole entire place and people know that as well, which is also a big kind of concern to me.
Yeah, because it can go to 0 to hold on to your hat in 60 seconds. And I know a lot of places in the world's like that. It isn't just this place. But like Lydia said, I mean, we have worked our hearts out on this place, and it is really hard to get in that vehicle and leave it behind, not knowing what you're going to come back to or when you're going to be able to come back to it.
And really, the hurricanes typically go through quick, from my understanding, but it's like the tornadoes that you have to watch out for. We were seriously 6-7 hours away from the house, and there were still huge tornado warnings. So us leaving didn't really do anything besides cause us problems whenever we try to come home. Yeah, and this time we're definitely going to set ourselves up where we don't have to go without power for 5. What was power? Power was 8. Yeah, power was 8, water was 5.
Well, water was almost 6.
Yeah.
So we didn't have water because that's when we just had the pond dug and we were taking baths in the pond because we had no running water.
Oh my gosh. That was rough. Anyway, so that's why the kitchen's not done, y'all. That's the whole thing in a nutshell.
That sounds like a huge excuse. Why
Yeah.
hasn't it done now? Could you repeat that?
Yeah, you want me to just start over again? But y'all, we are still working on the house. We're whittling away room by room. We are getting things to the point of making them our own. Now it's not just building. Now it's making it our home, decorating, figuring out what we like, what we don't like. So it's been really exciting to be able to take our time in this process as well.
I don't know if I've said this on here or not, but I like to say that we have 80% of the house done to 80%, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Okay. So, oh man, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay. Well, originally we wanted to obviously take everything out of the container and get it moved into maybe this container or just move somewhere. That way, whenever we went to pull this container up onto the slab, nothing really got shifted around, but I really don't think that we're going to have time for that today. So giving y'all a little tour of what we got going on in here that could potentially be damaged. Here's our generator. And of course, we have a stack of concrete and a whole lot of other stuff. We've got a scaffolding back there. We've got bits and pieces. We've got buckets full of little stuff. But you know what I think I actually just might do about all this stuff being in here? I think I got a really good solution to this. Yep, that'll work. That whole time we've been out there, all I could hear was y'all, oh, hey, we're not running out, crazies. Y'all seriously act like there's not grass in here. So the goats are all growing great and doing fantastic. Act like they're starved, like there's no grass in here apparently. But we have been making sure that this little girl, Barbie girl, Adley named her, has been doing good, and she's been finally growing, finally not being sick since we got her. She's doing so much better. But we always make sure that she gets enough food because the other ones are just a little bit bigger than her, so they tend to pick on her. But they're all pygmies, I think. If y'all know, drop in the comments and let me know what you think. I think Skipper, now be nice. I think that Rudy, this girl right here, has more Nigerian dwarf in her. And I don't know, I think Skipper might have a little bit, but she definitely is all pygmy with how tiny she is. She is the runt of the whole entire herd that I got her from. So Skipper, don't eat that. It's the camera, Goosey.
Only thing that makes me nervous about this whole deal is having all the contents that is inside of that container. The plan is to be really delicate with it. You or I neither have a good background with being very delicate. So we're just gonna see how that goes. We're gonna try to go slow with it. Maybe we won't mess nothing up in there. We don't have anything in there that's too valuable anyway, so.
Not worth it.
No. So the first container that we moved up here to the slab, our plan then was to pick it up with the blue tractor that we had, old blue, slide, roll, ease, gently put the ultimate Hootis up underneath it. But that didn't work. Old blue just didn't have the heart. So we ended up borrowing a mini hoe. The mini hoe couldn't pick it up. The little excavator was just giving it all it could. So it ended up being a joint effort.
Yeah, lucky for us, Jim's brother was able to come over with his tractor. He already had it hooked up, so he just went ahead and pulled it onto the slab for us. So today, the plan was to get old blue again, but with the help of our new Mahindra 75 horsepower tractor.
4-wheel drive cabin there. Whoa.
What? All the bells and whistles. And we knew that that would be able to move this container. Now, Jim talks to his brothers every single day. Everybody has a really great relationship, and we mentioned to him that we were going to be trying to move this today, and whenever we woke up this morning, it was like Santa had come. There was a skid steer sitting with the key in it, ready for use.
Man, I am telling you, it is so, you talk about fortunate. Really, through this whole thing, we've done, 99 7/8% of all this stuff ourselves. But every time we have been so fortunate, because every time we have reached out for help, even like this situation, not even really reaching out for help, we've had so many people that's just opened up themselves to help us and let us borrow things, at the time we maybe not could afford, or we didn't know nothing about it, or just we needed some guidance, or just one more hand to help push something over the top. And this skid steer is just another representation of that, of how blessed we truly are to have people in our lives to help us. I just wish that everybody in the whole world had their people, that they could count on like we do. We are very fortunate.
We are very fortunate, but we also probably need to stop blowing up the dirt doctor's head, because we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, he'll find a scratch on it or something and be like, I knew it.
Did you let Lydia drive that? So we are still going to be using our tractor to actually move the container, but to be able to get the ultimate Hootis underneath there, we are going to be using the skid steer today. So Jim's fixing to go get that. We're going to get everything rolling, and hopefully this goes extremely smooth. Y'all cross your fingers for us, okay? While Jim's going to get the skid steer, I'm going to measure off about half of this container. So I'm looking for about 20 feet. That way we know about where half is, so we know where to put the ultimate Hootis. This grass is pretty grown up right now, but there's a 6x6 block on each side of this container. So you got one down here, one there, and then the same on the other side. Last time we went ahead and left those 6x6 blocks and we didn't move them, but the problem was whenever we started picking up on the end of the container, it started actually roll those 6x6s and push them into the ground. So what we're gonna be doing this time is picking up the container on this front end first. We're gonna be taking out those 6x6s and moving them and put them in the front. That way, whenever the weight of the container starts bringing it up, it's pushing down on those 6x6s instead of pushing out into the ground. Like I said, it is pretty stinking dry out here. This is still a low spot on our homestead, so any help that we can get is definitely appreciated. Also, would anybody like to take a bet of how many snakes are probably in there? I'm really hoping that we don't find out, but that just looks like a snake haven right there. All right, what's the game plan?
I think the game plan right now is to eat about 20 pounds of these gnats.
Oh, I know. Game plan.
Okay, so I think I can pick it up with a skid steer. Maybe we can take Big Red and pull it right in here with that dolly and roll it in at an angle and then cock it around.
Oh, this has AC in it.
Okay, pull that handle down.
Okay, I'm currently hiding in between these two containers because the gnats don't seem to be as bad, but hoping that we caught that on film. There's so many dead gnats in your face.
The gnats are awful. I mean, they are bad. You can't even hardly breathe. That could have been a whole lot worse.
Honestly, that wasn't bad. I wasn't the one having to run back and forth, and I'm hoping that the camera caught it. One of our cameras ended up dying during Jim putting the hootis underneath the container, but if not, Jim took the tractor and pushed that hootis in there sideways, and then took the forks and just kind of shimmied it around, and then got it pretty close. Then I think he made about 11 trips around the skid steer, moving and shifting over and over until he got it exactly where we needed it. I dropped the skid steer back down, and she's on there.
I wouldn't say that it was easy, but that skid steer made all the difference in the world. That
Absolutely.
was having two pieces of equipment here to get that. I don't know. I really don't know how we did it last time. So I want to use Big Red to pick the container up. We're going to use a chain and chain it off to the forks. And then we're going to put a piece of hardwood timber in between the container and the forks. So when I start pushing it with the tractor, it'll push against that wood and we won't bend up the front of the container. Now the reason I want to use the tractor is because the weight, this skid steer is heavy. And we're going to end up with a lot of weight right on the corner of the slab, going up on the incline. And I just think that it's going to be less pounds per square inch with the tractor because the weight's going to be more distributed over a greater distance. But if that don't work, we'll just put our glasses on, get the skid steer, and hope that nothing fails.
Back to the gnat attack. Oof.